The campaign section of the game, the first time you play through it, will give you a small story clip at the beginning and end of each chapter. There are 12 chapters in total, each of which containing 6 normal stages with varying enemies, and the final boss stage. All stages contain 3 waves. In the first 6 of a chapter, there are 3 waves of varying enemies related to the chapter. The final stage will contain 2 waves of normal enemies, then a third wave which will include the chapter specific boss. Each chapter has a specific type of gear set which drops from the stages, and each stage contains a specific gear item slot which will drop. Boss stages of each chapter can drop any gear slot item of the stated gear set. A final thing to note is that chapter 12 will also have a chance to drop an accessory item as well as the curing set. The type of accessory changes depending on the difficulty level. There are 4 difficulties to work through. You start on normal. Once you complete all chapters and stages, you then unlock the next difficulty. So after normal, you will unlock hard. You will then need to run through all chapters and stages again, this time slightly harder. Finishing hard will unlock brutal, and then finishing brutal unlocks nightmare. Each stage has up to 3 stars which can be collected by completing certain requirements once for the stage. These are 1 star for beating the stage, 2 stars for beating the stage and losing no champions, 3 stars for beating the stage with only 1 or 2 champions and losing no champion. These stars all add up to a counter which is shown in the campaign map for each difficulty. As you start to collect and add up more stars, you will hit thresholds and receive rewards. These end up being very nice to claim as many as possible as soon as you are able. There will be certain stages that you may find difficult to get the 3 stars on, depending on your luck with champions you get on your account. You will eventually overcome them purely by improving champions and gear, but there are some tricks that people have managed to come up with to essentially cheese your way through the difficult stages, such as using a champion like Paragon, who is possible to build and have constant unkillable buff on himself, and slowly solo stages. Campaign stages are where you will inevitably end up returning to a lot to level up food champions over time. It is generally accepted within the community that there are certain stages that are the most efficient to use. Chapter 12, Stage 3 is known as the stage which gives you the best XP, silver to energy ratio. This is due to shields selling for a slightly more silver. Chapter 12, Stage 6 is the best overall XP to energy ratio. Choosing a difficulty level completely depends on what your campaign farming champion can handle. Early accounts will usually start by running 2 champions instead of 1 to run 2 food champions for XP. Then as your account progresses, moving to using only 1, meaning you can level 3 food champions instead of 2. A lot of people will then get to a point where they consistently and safely run brutal difficulty on these stages. There have been champions introduced lately which are more capable of solo running Nightmare campaign without requiring very high levels of gear compared to a year or 2 ago. Thor is a good example of this due to his high damage output.